everybody. Who am I? I don't even know right now. I'm a little discombobulated. Oh, yes, I am your girl, Nick,
This is Shannon.
and you are watching Bariatric Foodie Live in all its glory, including my cat, who very much wants to be on this show. So I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you your 5 seconds of it. See, now you want to back away. Now you want to back away. What kind of punk are you? Like, literally, guys, this cat has been assaulting. Like, when Shannon and I were preparing for the show, she would like randomly see like a cat tail swirl across the camera because of the fact that this cat will not leave me alone, and now he wants to be camera shy. Okay, whatever. Look, I got something for him. Okay. Anyway, so moving back into the realm of what we're supposed to be talking about, people. This is Bariatric Foodie Live, sponsored by bariatricpal.com, your friend in bariatrics. And we're going to be talking about Bariatric Pal a lot next week as we start our pledge coverage. So I'm just going to tell you to visit and check out their website, store.bariatricpal.com. They have everything, and I do mean everything, that you would probably ever want as a bariatric patient. So we'll start off the show, as we always do, just giving a call. If anybody has any burning questions that they want to ask, that they need to get out, something going on in your life. Is it weird if this is happening? Does anybody else do this? Anything you want to ask, just let it out there before we jump into our topics for this evening. And you can ask a question at any time. We'll be stopping periodically to just sort of check out the questions and whatnot. So if you have a question, you think of something, and we move forward, please just ask it anyway, okay? So, Shannon.
Yes.
It's almost time.
I know.
You know what it's almost time for? It's almost pledge time. Okay. That was maybe a little bit.
Maybe a bit much.
A little bit. But this episode kicks off our 6-week Bariatric Foodie Pledge coverage. And so tonight, since the pledge doesn't actually start until Sunday, tonight is more about making sure everybody is on the same page. Was I about to say page? Page. The same page about what the pledge is, how it works. And then also we wanted to give you some tips on how to get the most out of the pledge. Now, I'm speaking from the experience of somebody who has run this contest for the past 6 years. And Shannon has helped run this contest for the last few years, but she actually started off as a pledge participant. So she has that perspective of what it's like to be a person participating in the pledge and getting the most out of it, and how she was able to maximize what she was able to get out of this challenge. However, if you are new to the Foodie Nation, we thought we would start off with, what the hell is the Bariatric Foodie Pledge? Okay, what is it? This contest. You guys have been talking about it for the past 4 weeks. You've been saying, sign up, sign up, sign up. I don't know what I'm signing up for. And then I signed up, but I can't remember if I signed up. But then I had a password, but then I don't remember the link, but then I don't know. So let's just take it from the top and go over the whole thing. So, shall we? Okay, we shall. All right, so here's the basic tenets of how the Bariatric Foodie Pledge works. It is a 4-week challenge. It starts on Sunday, January 28th. The intention of the challenge was to carry you through the month of February. But since each pledge week always begins on a Sunday, I'm gonna try not to get too far in the weeds too fast there. But because each pledge week begins on a Sunday, the pledge most often starts on the last Sunday of January. So it starts January the 28th this year. So it's a 4-week challenge. At the beginning of each week, you pledge to work on a healthy goal. Now, you do that on the Bariatric Foodie website, and I'll explain how in a minute. But you actually tell me, like, this is what I am going to do this week. This is my healthy goal. Then throughout the week, you're working hard on your challenge. And we try to give you some resources to do that. There is a private Facebook group for folks who are in the pledge. There's emails that you get. Folks email me all the time during the pledge. So if you're not, you guys obviously are on Facebook, but there are some people who participate who aren't on Facebook. So if they email me, I email them back. Mega support we try to give you during the week. But then at the end of the week, what you're going to do is you're going to be accountable and come back to my website, say how your goal went during the week. And again, you do that by actually telling me. You fill out a little form. This is how my goal went this week. Now, if you do both of those things each week, you are entered to win a prize package. And here's the great thing is that each week, there's going to be 5 winners for each week, guys. 5 winners of prize packages. And if you checked out the Bariatric Foodie website or any of the Bariatric Foodie Pledge information, you will see that there's 3 sponsors for each week. So 5 people are going to win prizes from 3 sponsors each week.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. It is a lot. And I feel like it's like a good catalyst to work on your goals. It's a good motivation. I mean, not everybody's in it for the prizes, but it's nice. It's fun to think about getting a prize for doing something good for yourself. And that's something that I really love about the pledge is that you are winning prizes for doing something good for you, not doing for other people, not, going out there and promoting something, but doing something good for yourself, working on yourself, focusing in on yourself. So 5 winners each week, but wait, there's more. I'm not saying that. It's like my little infomercial dream moment, Shannon. So if you make a goal in the beginning of the week, you're accountable at the end of the week, you are entered to win a weekly prize. But if you do it for all 4 weeks of the challenge, you can win the winner takes all grand prize. Now, what the hell is that?
That's intense.
The winner takes all grand prize. Are you ready for this, guys? Are you ready for this, guys? The winner takes all grand prize is just what it sounds like. It is one of every prize that everyone else won during the entire challenge, like every single prize. This is a really big prize package. Unfortunately, it doesn't come all at the same time, so you'll have to really make friends with your USPS and UPS guy. Last year, my wonderful, wonderful foodie friend, who I became friends with through her being in the Foodie Nation, Mary Grisafi. Last year was Mary's year, Shannon, because remember, Mary won the pledge. Grand prize, and then when we went to OAC Your Weight Matters convention, she won Member of the Year. Yep. So Mary had a good year last year. Anyway, so my good foodie friend Mary Grisafi from Gretna, Louisiana, won the grand prize. The year before, I forget the lady's name who won the year before, but the year before that, somebody won who was in how do you pronounce it? Qatar, Qatar. I think it's Qatar. Anyway, that's where she lived. Yes, you can participate in the pledge if you are outside of the United States. And she won. She was in Qatar. And, I was a little bit glazed over because this is a big prize. And I'm like, how much is this going to cost to ship? But she was really super sweet. She had a friend who has an Army post office box. And so we shipped it there, and it was regular shipping, which was still it was still a lot of stuff. I was like, good Lord, look, guys, but this prize is huge, and the only way you can get it is if you participate in all 4 weeks, which is why we push so hard. We talk about it so much to the point where we may actually be getting on your nerves, but we want to make sure that as many people get in the door before the pledge begins as possible. So you have the opportunity to participate in all 4 weeks, so that you have the opportunity to be able to compete for that grand prize. Now, if you have participated in the past, there's a few things that are a little different this year. So I thought I would just take this opportunity to go over a couple of things that are different about the pledge this year. Now, people who have never done the pledge before, try not to get too in the weeds with what I'm about to say, because this is not how it is anymore. I don't want you to confuse yourself, okay? you have any questions, jump in here. But a few things that are different this year. Number one is your pledge dashboard. When you signed up for the pledge, if you followed my instructions, which people from past pledges should know, that it really does behoove you to follow my instructions during this challenge. If you followed my instructions, you went through a little mini challenge that taught you how the pledge works. And that took you to a part of my website called Your Pledge Dashboard. Your Pledge Dashboard, I was so excited about this because of the fact that this is your personal spot to keep track of your progress during the challenge. This is not where everybody goes to submit their goal. It is where you go to submit your goal. So when you see a little check mark next to pledging, that only relates to you. It shows you what you have done and nobody else. So it's your little landing page on my website. Keep track of your pledges and your check-ins. I'm really excited about that because the second major change in the pledge, and if you participated in the pledge before, you will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say there's no more pledge list. Well, almost. In the past, the way the pledge worked is you would come to the website, you would fill out a form, but everybody would be filling out the same form. We'd be collecting them, and it would be up to us to match up the form and say that you had pledged or checked in for the week. And that was just fraught with all kinds of human errors. Sometimes people spelled their names wrong. Sometimes they used one email one week and one email another week. You know, there were just all sorts of things that happened that made it really, really hard for us to keep track of one person throughout all 4 weeks of pledging and checking in. And so every week we would publish this pledge list, and you would have to go and you would have to check it. And you would have to make sure that we had given you credit for everything that you had done. And then if you did, you had to contact somebody and, you know, make sure that that all got straightened out, especially if you were interested in competing for the grand prize. That's over. When you signed up, you created an account on my site. So no matter what it is you put into the pledge form or the check-in form, we're going to be able to track you week to week to week throughout the pledge. Now, the reason I said well almost is because of the fact that at the end of the challenge, before it's time to compete for the grand prize, we are going to release a list of folks who are eligible for the grand prize. But that's not so much for you to check that list and see if you're on it, but to celebrate yourself on that list because you completed all 4 weeks of the challenge and you were able to participate in grand prize reach. Really, I'm getting to the info for it, or I'm assuming by info you mean the link and not the massive amount of information I'm talking about right now. But yeah, so that's mainly the purpose of publishing that list at this point, at that point in the game, is that so that everybody can see what you did. You committed to yourself for 4 weeks. You committed to making a goal at the beginning of the week, holding yourself accountable at the end of the week, and sticking it through, because it's not an easy challenge. Shannon will talk about this a little bit later from her perspective. It's not the easiest challenge to be involved in. Because of the fact that there are deadlines for things. And I'm not going to get into too far into the weeds of the deadlines. If you sign up or if you have signed up, you've gotten information on the deadlines. But basically, you have 24 hours to submit your pledge within a defined 24-hour period. You have 24 hours to submit your check-in. So if you forget, it's like, oh, that's the worst feeling. Like if somebody like emails me and says that they forgot, I'm like, oh, can you just let me through? And I'm like, oh, I can't do it. So yeah, pay attention to my instructions. I give lots of information about what times you do everything. We send you crazy reminders. If you're in the Facebook group, there's going to be crazy reminders there. But yeah, pay attention to that. But we'll get to that in a moment. For right now, I totally forgot to put the link up, but it will also be in, I'll update the status message for this live after it's over so that you have the link, but it is bariatricfoodie.com/take the pledge. Bariatricfoodie.com/take the pledge. So that's what the pledge is, and that's where it's a little bit different from years past. I'm really excited about these changes. I feel like it'll make it a much more understandable challenge for folks to be able to see your progress. So if you pledged week 1, you see a check next to pledge week 1. If you checked in, you see a check. You can see your own progress. You don't have to depend on me to tell you that you did something. You can see it for yourself. So next, I thought I would give you guys a glimpse at our sponsors for this year. And wait a minute, I'm going to make this big. How do I make this big? Oh, dear Lord. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we, nope. Oh, God. No, that's not it. Negative. I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Did you take me down?
I'm trying to make it like so that it's big and we're little, but maybe that's not going to happen. Everybody just go like this toward your computer. But or actually, wait a minute, Shannon, do you mind if I take you out of the
that's fine.
For a minute? I'm just going to talk to my foodies and like you're not here anyway. So anyway, let me just put myself in picture there. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. Wrong picture in picture. Dear Lord. Okay, so now I'm covering my own damn logo. But basically, our sponsors every year sort of tend to trend toward a certain type of sponsor. And so in years past, we've had lots of vitamin sponsors. We've had like some years we have lots of protein sponsors and things like that. This year seems to be the year of the bariatric store. We have a lot of bariatric stores. You'll see Berry Life. You'll see Bariatric Choice. We have Bariatric Food Source. We have Berry Nutrition. These are all bariatric stores that sell a multitude of products in addition to their own products. But I like having a lot of bariatric stores in there because they offer really big prize packages. So you don't just get one thing. They tend to like send you like this conglomeration of things in one prize package, which is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to take this down and bring my beloved Shannon back because I miss Shannon when she's gone. Okay. She's like honestly my buddy. If you guys ever wait a minute, hold up. There we go. If you guys ever get the impression that Shannon and I have good like sort of live stream chemistry, it's because we do. We are genuinely friends. We do talk outside of Bariatric Foodie and all that good stuff because I just love her. Anyway, Pam is over here bragging. She has a 26-inch monitor. Well, whoop-de-doo for you, Pam. No, I'm kidding. But those are our sponsors. So we'll talk about them more later in the show and then throughout the pledge. But I just wanted to give you like a little glimpse of some of the sponsors that are in there. Last year we had a grand prize sponsor who was a fitness sponsor, which was CyberFit, which is the fitness company that I haven't used CyberFit since my surgery process, but I do still keep in touch with my CyberFit trainer, and I am about to go back to her. This year it is Go Girl Fitness Studio, and I'm so excited about Go Girl especially because my very good friend Pandora Williams, who is a weight loss surgery patient herself. She has lost a tremendous amount of weight. We'll get to know her story as the pledge goes on. She has run more than 40 half marathons, and she is the head trainer at Go Girl. So I'm really excited about that because it's sort of a buy post-op or a post-op sort of moment. I love when we can make that happen. So anyway, the next thing we're going to talk about here in our top 5-ish is the top 5-ish ways to get the most out of the pledge, because it's not just about the prizes. It's also about you. It's also about you. It's about your goal. At the heart of this all, this is a goal setting and accountability challenge. So we want to talk to you a little bit, make sure you got your head right, make sure that you are positioning yourself to get as much out of this 4-week opportunity as you possibly can. So without further ado, let's just hop into this. And I think, Shannon, you are going to go first.
Yep.
With number 1, just consider your goals wisely.
Yes. Consider your goals wisely, because it's not enough to just pick up goals and run with them because you think you should be doing them. Goals and achieving goals should have an impact and be meaningful to you. So some things to think about when you're considering your goals are are you choosing goals that are already that you're already close to achieving? Because it's worthwhile to do that. But maybe you need to stretch yourself a little bit more. So take that into consideration. Another thing that you should probably consider is what do you expect to gain from achieving the goal, and what are you prepared to give up to achieve that goal? Because for everything that, let's say, for example, you want to increase the amount of time you're going to the gym by, 2 days a week. Well, that means 2 days a week you're taking time away from other things that you were previously doing. So now you have to weigh out what the benefit and what are you prepared to give up in return. So that's another thing that you should probably consider when you're making a goal. And then another thing that you should probably consider is, are your goals bigger than just what you can accomplish in the time frame of this particular challenge? I am a big proponent of breaking down a large challenge and working on one piece of it every week. But you have to think about, can you still work toward the goals and not get discouraged if you can't achieve the goal in a week? So maybe that's okay with you, and you want to do 2 weeks of the same part of the goal, because at the end of the 4-week challenge, you will have achieved that goal, or maybe you won't. Are you okay with that? Those are all things that you should probably consider when you're coming up with your goals.
Yeah, and what we hear a lot from people at the end of it, especially from people who are participating for the first time, because people who have done 2 or 3 pledges, I'm so glad, I feel so blessed that we're in our 6th year now, so we have people who've done it some years, is that they do tend to take that approach of having some sort of tangible thing. And I'm going to talk about that next, at the end of the month, that they want to have accomplished, and they feel this tremendous sense of accomplishment. The thing I would like to piggyback onto what Shannon said is that positive momentum builds up. You start doing something good for yourself, that makes you feel good. You want to keep feeling good, so you keep doing good things for yourself. So just keep that positive, set your goals up in the way that the positive momentum is going to keep going. You don't want to set yourself up in a way where you're going to feel like you failed at something or you didn't do well enough. And believe me, we will be there. Like, especially if you're in the Pledge Facebook group, we will be there to lift you up and to support you and to tell you that you are not failing, you're doing your best, all of that good stuff. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you. What's going to motivate you? What's going to move the needle forward for you? So the second thing we're going to talk about is, why does the text size change so drastically? It sort of makes it sound like I think my idea is bigger. Anyway, embrace SMART goals, guys. And I know you guys know what SMART goals are. You know what SMART goals are, but let's just go through it just in case. SMART goals, that is an acronym. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, and the R can either be relevant or realistic and time sensitive. The pledge is centered around SMART goals. At the beginning of the week, when you pledge your goal, it's pretty straightforward. What's your name? What's your email? What you gonna do this week? When you check in, however, there are a few extra questions. We're gonna ask you, what's your name? What's your email? What did you say you were gonna do this week? Did you achieve that goal? Yes or no? And there's nothing to choose but yes or no. It's not, well, what had happened, no. Yes or no. Did you achieve the goal? The next question we're going to ask you is, what challenged or inspired you for the week? And then how are you going to keep the goal going from there? Those are things that are easier to know when you make a SMART goal than when you make a really ambiguous goal. So let me give you an example just in case you don't know what any of this means. Say you feel like you are not active enough. And really ambiguous goal to make in response to that is, I'm going to work out more. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if in 2 weeks, so one of a few things happens if I've asked you in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, if I ask you, hey, how's that goal going? If you worked out 0 and then you worked out once in 2 weeks, yes, technically you are working out more, but do you feel like you moved the needle on your goal? Not really. Versus if you say, I'm going to start going for a walk 3 days a week. You know that if you only went 2 days a week, you didn't meet your goal. Maybe you need to adjust. If you went more than 3 days a week, you know that you exceeded your goal. Maybe you need to adjust. But you can answer confidently, yes, I did that, or no, I did not do that. So embrace SMART goals. They are your friend, especially in this challenge. Going back to what Shannon said, is, you know, not taking on things that you can't possibly achieve in the time frame of a week or 4 weeks. Because if you do that, you know, yeah, you may move the needle on a really, really big goal, but at the end of it, you kind of want to have something to show for it. I did this and I did that. So SMART goals will get you there. So even if you do have a big goal, think about, okay, well, what can I do toward that big goal in a month? What milestone can I reach? What accomplishment can I tick off my list? What mini goal can I achieve? And then breaking that down. And like we said, we don't care whether or not you make 4 different goals for 4 different weeks or work the same goal every single week, as long as it is something that is meaningful to you, that is moving you forward. That's what the pledge is all about. So, sorry, Shannon, I rephrased your next one because it was too long to fit on the subtitle, but okay. There you go, girl.
Okay. So then I kind of focused on first timers because I was asked for a participant perspective. And I think the biggest thing that I could think of being a past participant of the pledge was just to get yourself ready for a mind-blowing experience. As a past participant in the pledge, the first time I did it, I learned a ton about how I value myself, my time, and how to successfully achieve goals for myself in the way that I found out that I'm not a big goal achiever. I'm much better off with small goals with lots of positive reinforcement for those small steps that I was taking. If I had planned to do a big goal and I didn't get as far as I had hoped, it was like, why do I even continue to go on, right? So I worked much better with small goals. That was a much easier way for me to achieve goals, and it was a much easier way for me to continue working on those goals at the end of the pledge. And so in that way, I think it's a really great, the pledge is a really great opportunity, and other participants can chime in here, just to getting to know how you do with goal setting and accountability and all of those things. If you've never really done it like seriously before, you get to learn a lot about how you specifically deal with setting a goal and then working toward it and then achieving it. It's like life-changing going through that process.
Yeah. So Mary said hi and that you have gorgeous eyes. I don't know if you saw that.
Thanks. I didn't.
I'm always up for like complimenting Shannon whenever possible. And then her husband Gary, and yes, they are Mary and Gary, said hi too. But by the way, guys, Mary, if you wouldn't mind, I don't know if you're on a phone or on a laptop. I had shouted you out because you were last year's grand prize winner, just to sort of type out what that meant for you and what it was like to win the grand prize and get all those freaking prizes coming to your door all the time, day and night, the postman knocking on your door. I don't even know if that's how it went down, but I do know that Mary was the grand prize winner. And you can see she's here. She's showing up. She's in the pledge again this year. So I think that says a lot. But I'm going to move on talking about it. But Mary, if you want to chime in and let everybody know what that was like for you, that would be great. And then, so mind blown, guys. I'm going to blow your mind. Seriously, it's making my things bigger. Okay, anyway, so number 4 is you, regardless of whatever prizes are being offered in this challenge, you are the real prize. And I think most people get that when they participate in the pledge, and they enjoy the motivation of, completing each week and being in the running for the prize. And when people win a prize, they are tickled. But at the end of the day, most people seem to get that they are the real prize. The fact that they are achieving their goals, they are setting and doing what they set out to do for themselves. The fact that they accomplished something, the fact that they finished something. The timing of the pledge is not an accident. I decided that it was going to be in February because in January, everybody's hyper motivated about their goals. Everybody's like, New Year's resolution mindset is really strong. You're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat no carbs. I'm going to drink 557 ounces of water every day. You're super hyper motivated. But then by the time February comes around, it's like life starts to work you over a little bit. One of your kids gets like this massive cold and strep throat and pink eye and an ear infection at the same time. And your husband or wife is being a butt and your job is getting on your nerves. And you're just like, forget it. It's just too much. So I put the pledge in February to help motivate folks to stay the course. So that you could keep going for that extra 4 weeks, because what we know through research is that it takes a little while of habitually doing something over and over and over again before it becomes a habit, before it becomes almost like second nature. I quoted the 66 days, which is something that a lot of researchers say. It takes 66 days to form a new habit. So, with the pledge, you got 60 some days. If you've been going hard since the 1st of January, by the time the pledge is over, you've got 60 some days where you've been working your goal really, really, really hard. So I just wanted to point out that you are the real prize in the pledge. If you win a prize, an actual prize from the sponsors, that's great. But I personally want you guys to be way more proud and way more happy about what it is you're going to accomplish for yourself during this challenge. So next up. Whoa, they did you wrong with the text, girl. They could be bigger. Anyway.
It's fine. The number 5 is be a part of the pledge community. And I said this to really plug into that group. And a lot of you, since we're on Facebook Live, a lot of these the viewers will probably be using that group. But I didn't participate in a pledge, I don't think, that had a separate group.
No, you were already with Bariatric
Foodie. Yeah, I was already working with you. But I've seen the definite advantages of having that group since it's been implemented to the pledge as a whole. And so I really, really suggest that if you're participating in the pledge, to really get in that group and plug into that group, because for one, there are so many people who are all working on goals. It's really hard to not be motivated by your own goals, because you're seeing people talking about their goals and talking about what they're doing up to reach those goals. And it's really hard to just be like, oh yeah, well, they kind of motivate you. You're in an environment where everybody's working together and they're all working on, making their goal, achieving their goals. And how can you not be motivated by that? Another thing is that you usually can find at least one person, probably more, who are working on the same goal or a similar goal to you. And it's really a great opportunity to find an accountability person. It's really great for accountability. If, we got a group of people who are working on increasing their water intake. Well, maybe they say, hey, I made it to my goal for today. And everybody else who's working on getting their fluids in comes in and says, me too, me too, me too. It's a really great way for those of us who are working on a goal of that nature to be accountable to another person who's doing the same thing. And then like the last thing, which is kind of funny, but I think I said, to be honest, I think that my family was like really over me talking about the pledge after like the second week. Like I was like, I'm doing this. And, it's like, we got to pledge in. I got to pledge. I got to check in. I got to do it. And by the second week, they were like, come on. So it was great. This is a great place. That pledge group is a great place where you can go, and it's a safe place to talk about your goals. And it's a safe place to talk about things you've accomplished or the troubles that you're having, and not have to worry so much about maybe overdoing it with someone who's not really maybe in that same space that you are. So
they don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Pledge. What is a pledge?
Right.
Now my check-in.
Right. My family knew what it was, but they were like, man, she's always talking about that,
Like, why is that important?
Right. Now you can go to the group and say, oh, I did it. And there's a bunch of people there who can just be like, yeah, you did it. Yeah. It's great. I think that's a really, really great feature to the pledge that you should really try to invest some time in.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right. So the last sort of getting the most out of the pledge. And I debated whether or not to put this one because it sounds slightly shady. However, insofar that this piece of advice could be the one piece of advice that could determine your fate in this challenge. This is the one pitfall that I see people like fall into, and it messes them up every single year. And I say the same thing every single year, and it messes people up every single year. So if you heed no other piece of advice from me, heed this one. Please, 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 please read everything carefully that I send you. There, like I said, throughout the pledge, you put in your email address because of the fact that we send you reminders for things. We send you reminders for things, and we remind you on the instructions on how to do things. So Sunday, when the pledge starts at noon Eastern Standard Time, you will get an email. It will have instructions on how to go pledge, just in case you don't remember. I will put other helpful instructions. If people seem to be going astray in a direction that they're not supposed to be going in, and I see a trend, I will stick that in the email or in the instructions or in a status message in the group. Just be sure, like, this is the reason why you have that whole 24-hour period to pledge, and that whole 24-hour period to check in. And where people mostly get really panicked is because, again, I'm going to stay with me here if you've never participated in the pledge. Pledging happens, everything is noon to noon, okay, Eastern Standard Time. Pledging happens from Sunday to Monday. Then you work on your goal all week. Check-in happens Saturday to Sunday. But once you get into week 2, you're checking in Saturday to Sunday, but then Sunday to Monday, you're pledging for week 2. So I think that's where people start to get a little bit, because there's all this stuff going on. Every weekend that's going to happen during the pledge. But you just have to remember that you have that whole 24 hours for a reason. Read my entire email first. First of all, when you get the email, you're always going to get the email at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Whenever anything opens, I'm not going to send it to you hours and hours after something opened. So read the email if you can when you get it. Respond to the email when you get it. You should be absolutely fine with the deadlines. Now, sometimes people are cutting it a little bit close. Life happens, things like that. But please read the instructions. Please read the instructions. Please read the instructions. I try my best. I don't know if you guys know this about me. If you're new to the Foodie Nation, you might not know. I am actually a professional writer and editor by trade. So I work very hard not to make these emails any longer than they need to be. But if I put it in the email, it's because it is something that you need to know. Please, 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 please read the emails. Mary mentioned that marking down the pledge dates. There are resources that we put in the Facebook group and on the website so that you have resources. There's a little calendar you can download. My advice is to put them in your phone so that your phone pops up every week. Another thing is to make sure that, the pledge and check-in open and close times are in your particular time zone. They are not like, it is Eastern Standard Time. So, if Eastern Standard Time for me, 12 Eastern Standard Time for me is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for you, then that's when you need to put your reminder in. So just read everything that I send you very carefully. And if you have any questions, it is always okay to hit that reply button. All you have to do is hit reply. It will go to my email. I answer every email. Anybody who has emailed me about the pledge so far can tell you that I do answer every single email that I get every single day. So if you have any questions, I will get you straightened out. So anyway, with that, let's talk a little bit about what is going to happen with Bariatric Foodie Live during the pledge, our Bariatric Foodie Live pledge coverage, because, there's going to be all these people doing the pledge. And I think at last count, we were up to like 1,600 people, Shannon. This is the biggest pledge yet. I'm kind of like, yeah, Foodie Nation is kind of awesome. But even if you don't participate in the pledge for whatever reason, I've had some people who actually got the notices about participating in the pledge. And they said, this year I can't do it. One foodie was dealing with like the death of her spouse, which I absolutely 100%, 1,000, 1,000,000% can understand how the pledge would be the furthest thing from your mind and something that you would not want to do in that situation. So if there's a reason, whatever reason you feel like you're not sure about it, you're not sure if it's for you, whatever, we're not going to be mad at you, and we're still going to run this show every week. But here's how the show is going to go, because there's going to be some benefits for people, even if they don't participate in the actual challenge. So let's just talk about what's going to happen on the show for the next couple of weeks. The first thing, if you watch this show, you know that Shannon and I do the most hilarious live product reviews. We have a lot of fun with it just because we want to try the product out. We want to look at it. We want to sniff it. We want to taste it. We want to bang it against something. We want to add hot water to it. We want to see if there's a chemical reaction and it makes our house blow up. We do it all. And so Shannon is loaded up. Guys, you just do not know. I was so nervous. I sent Shannon her box of Pledge sample stuff, and they said it was supposed to get there one day, and it got there the next day. And I was like, where's your stuff? Where's the stuff? You got to let me know when the stuff. I'm like texting her like every 5 minutes. She's like, okay, I will let you know when the stuff comes. So it's got there. Shannon has her Pledge stuff. I have my Pledge stuff. There are 3 sponsors every week. We are going to be trying products from each of the weekly sponsors for that week. So 3 product reviews every week on the show we're going to do, so that you will, even if you're not participating in the Pledge, you will get to learn about some new products. But not just that, guys. Check this out. Is not only do you get the live reviews, but discounts for everyone. No matter whether you are, I know, right? No matter whether you are participating in the Pledge or not, our sponsors have offered these really awesome discounts on their websites for in honor of the Pledge. So anybody can take advantage of those discounts. So every week, as we're showing you these products, we're going to be letting you know what discounts each company is offering and how to go get them. So get your little coins together, because there's going to be a lot of good deals to be had. You can stock up on all of your favorite little products and things like that, or maybe discover some new products, because Shannon and I just acted so silly stupid with them that you just had to try them for yourself. Mm-hmm. So discounts. Yeah, discounts. Mm-hmm. We are going to be sharing our best advice on goal setting, motivation, and accountability, because there's a lot of that to be had. And that was actually one of the most popular parts of the Pledge last year, was I actually did a Facebook Live every week within the Pledge group. And it was really, really popular. I think the most popular one was the one I called the 7 stages of post-op, of your post-op psyche, where I sort of went through all of these stages that you sort of go through after post-op that can drive yourself and other people nuts. So instead of just doing that inside the Pledge group this year, we're going to do it on Bariatric Foodie Live so that everybody can benefit from that information, regardless of whether you are in the Pledge. And then last but not least is that we are going to be doing Pledger highlights, and that could be you, because folks email me all the time things that they have achieved during the Pledge that they're really, really proud of. People post in the Facebook group about the Pledge about things that they're really, really proud of. So, keep those coming. Keep us loaded up with like inspiration. Shannon and I will both be consulting to see, who inspired us during the week, who tried really hard, who had a really good story to tell, who had a victory for themselves, who fought for it. Because, we see people fight for it where everything in the world goes wrong with their goal during the week, and they still manage to get something done and come out the other side and check in their goal. And it's just all very inspiring. So we are going to be doing Pledger highlights so that we can celebrate the things that you are doing. Of course, we will contact you if we're going to highlight you. We're not just going to be throwing stuff up on the internet about you without your permission, but we will be doing Pledger highlights so that even if you're not participating in the Pledge, draw on that inspiration and be there for the Pledgers and let their stories inspire your process too. So is there anything else that we had discussed that I left out, Shannon?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got it.
Oh my gosh, I'm at the last item for the show. Wow. Dear Lord, how does that happen? Usually we're like an hour and 15 minutes, man.
We did it.
So anyway, I'm going to scroll down. I don't think I saw any questions, but we're going to do sort of the last call for questions. If anybody has any questions about anything, I'm going to flash that link for the signing up for the pledge again in a minute. But let's see what some folks had to say. Yes, Beth sort of co-signed the yes, it's important to read the whole email to get the right info. Mary said, oh, this is a good point, Mary. She says, if you're afraid you won't make the goal, don't let that stop you. Even if we fall behind and don't do it 100%, when check-in time comes, do it. Autocorrect got you, Mary. So I think that's a beautiful comment. And that's also actually something that I should have mentioned before, which is that even if you do not achieve your goal for the week, if you check in, you are eligible for the prize drawing, because this is about goal setting and it's about accountability. So it's not about, did you do everything perfectly? Did everything go perfectly? It's about setting a goal and holding yourself accountable. And that's the reason why we ask you what, challenged or inspired you and how are you going to keep this goal going? Because the point is that when you hold yourself accountable, you learn how to do it right the next time. So that's what we want you to do. So regardless of whether you met your goal, you didn't meet your goal, you need to check in so that you can not only qualify for the weekly prize, but if you're trying to go for that grand prize, you need to get that in there. Let me see what else we got there. Mary is affirming the pledge and check-in dates in your calendar. The mental part of being in this challenge is maybe the most useful part, as it gives you the support some of us don't normally have. Yes, so true. Just a lot of pledge excitement. Yay! I'm so excited about the pledge too. Mostly because, guys, you just don't even know. Like for me, this is so long coming. Like I start working on, not to toot my own horn. This is not to toot my own horn. This is just to sort of show you how excited I am that the pledge is starting this Sunday. Is that there's only about maybe 4 months of my life, 4 maybe 5 months of my life that is not revolved around the pledge. I start working on the Bariatric Foodie Pledge in August of, getting the sponsors, making sure that they know what it's all about, making sure everybody's all locked and loaded. I get everything that I need. You notice that on the Bariatric Foodie website, on the homepage, there are reviews of the sponsors, all of the sponsors' products. I have to do those reviews and photograph them. So there's a lot of stuff to be done for the pledge. But when it finally gets here, I get so happy because that's when I get to interact with you guys and see you guys achieving your goals and what is holding you back. And I really feel like I was built to be like that friend that always encourages you, because that's just what I love to do. I just love to tell people that they can do it, and sort of helping them along the way like that. That's just like a genuine passion of mine. So I'm really excited. Shannon is really excited.
Oh, yeah.
And starting next week, we are going to be covering like we said, the sponsors. We're going to be telling you about the discounts. We're going to be telling you what the pledgers have been doing. So you're going to want to tune in every single week to sort of get a recap of what's been going on the Bariatric Foodie Pledge. If there's anybody that you think could benefit from the Bariatric Foodie Pledge, your support group, your post-op friend, the girl at work who just had surgery, anybody at all that you think, we do try to keep it in the bariatric realm, mostly because we sort of understand each other. This is our community. This is a place where we just get to be us. I'm not going to kick anybody out for not being a post-op, especially as somebody who, is going alongside their husband or wife or whatever. However, most of us are going to be post-op, and that's where the conversation is going to revolve around. So that's why I say, if it's your support group or another post-op friend that you have, give them the link and give it to them fast, because you want them to be in it before week 1 so that they have the opportunity to win the grand prize. You can join the pledge after the pledge begins. However, if you join during week 2, we don't bend that rule about the 4 weeks for the grand prize. You would just be pledging for weekly prizes and not the grand prize. So if anybody you want to have a shot, and I totally, I'm not trying to give anybody any tips, but if I had a best friend who was a post-op who joined the pledge, we kind of have this pact. Like, look, if you win the grand prize, you're splitting it with me. If I win the grand prize, I'm splitting it with you. We about to be in this thing together.
Yep.
Once it gets to your house, I don't ask questions, okay? I don't ask questions about what you do with this prize, okay? Thank you. So anyway, if you know anybody who needs this information, needs this sort of challenge in their life, forward them this link. Kim, let me see what Kim had to say. Let's see. Just found the page that see, that's just such a timely comment. New to the page, just found it last week. Are non-surgical people welcome to join? Really need help with long-term goals. As I said, everybody ultimately is welcome to join. However, just recognize that the primary audience that Bariatric Foodie speaks to is post-ops. We speak in 2 post-ops in the language that post-ops understand. And if you can roll with us and you are, down to work goals with us, down to check in with us, down to be accountable with us, and down to, sort of listen to our experiences and be understanding of our experiences, we are happy to have you in the pledge. But just recognizing that that is the primary audience that Bariatric Foodie speaks to. So I love everybody. That's just who I am. I don't know.
It is. It's totally true.
I'm just like, I can't think of like a single solitary person in this world that I like just categorically dislike. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I don't know. But anyway, any other questions? We are dangerously close to ending this at exactly 1 hour. Any other questions? By the way, I'm not opposed to going over an hour, but for the people on the replay, like by 40 minutes, they're like, why does this thing always have to be an hour and 15 minutes? Like, fast forward, man. Anyway, Kim, thank you for that. She said my recipes are good. I'm trying to consciously put comments that I'm talking about up on the screen because when it goes up on YouTube, I know especially the YouTubers are like,
we can't see this.
We can't see the comments. We can't see that. Which reminds me that, hold up, where's my little thing? Okay, so if you like Bariatric Foodie Live and you want to know what's coming up on Bariatric Foodie Live and to get a reminder that Bariatric Foodie Live is happening, this very show is happening every week, you would go to bariatricfoodie.com/live and sign up for updates. Just put your name and your email. We will email you every week. We will tell you what the show is about. We'll email you about a half hour before the show goes live. You'll have a link in there to just go directly to the show or to the replay, and it'll be great. But if you absolutely miss it, like we said, the replay is there. And then if you have anybody who could benefit from Bariatric Foodie Live, but they aren't a Facebook type of person, we publish the show on YouTube. It usually takes me about 2 or 3 days to get each show onto YouTube. I'm going to try really hard to get this show up tomorrow, but point them to YouTube and tell them to subscribe to Bariatric Foodie's channel. It is Bariatric Foodie. And you will see, you'll know it's us because every video, the cover photo has like a cute little cartoon image of Shannon and I, just so you know that you're in the right place. So anyway, I don't see any questions. So we are going to wrap this show a whole 7, maybe 6 minutes before the top of the hour. But just remember that the Bariatric Foodie Pledge does start this Sunday, January the 28th. If you would like to join, bariatricfoodie.com/take the pledge, and you will be able to join. Be sure to read everything, especially when you get that email from me that tells you how to join the Facebook group. There is a password to get into the Facebook group to keep it totally private. If you do not have the password, we are not letting you into the group. So read the email. It is in the email. I promise you, it is in the email. And get into that group, get into the pledge so that you can start working your goals, being accountable, and possibly winning some prizes. And next week, we are in full-on pledge mode, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Good luck, everybody. Have a great pledge this year if you're participating, and we will see you next week, okay? Cool. Bye.